Hello, everyone. It is your brain coach, Dr. Sunita Punjabi, ABD. So, the second part of this is and where we're talking about failure, and we were talking about the desire to quit. So, what do we do when we feel like quitting? What can we do instead of quitting? And we did already in part one. If you didn't watch part one of the video series, please watch part one. We said that quitting or the desire to quit and give up is almost an animal response because it has survival value. Being uncomfortable, taking a risk does not have survival value. It actually helps you to achieve your goals and dreams. But the brain, especially the part that's connected to your heart, which is the base of the brain, it's not interested in your goals and dreams. It's interested in you have a roof over your head, you have food on the table, you can pay your basic bills, and you're surviving. What else do you want? Right? So then there's this interesting little conflict between your brain and your goal, your brain, and let's call it your mind, which is the higher part of you, the part of you that has goals, dreams, and aspirations, which is usually located in the prefrontal cortex. So there's a battle between the prefrontal cortex and your primal brain. The prefrontal cortex says, I want to do this. I want to take that chance. What if one day I could be? And your midbrain is saying, no, we don't. We don't know how to do it. What if we fail? No, let's just stop right now, is what your your midbrain, your primal brain is saying. So the desire to quit is very natural. So what do we do is the subject of this section. First thing you've got to do, remember, take action. When you feel like quitting, the next thing to do, which is very human, by the way, is to freeze. First thing we're going to do, take an action. The reason you want to take an action is I'm standing here looking at the camera. But when I take an action, I see something different. Just by taking the action, I have a new view of the problem and I can get a fresh perspective. And I can take another action that wasn't normally available to me had I stayed where I was. See, by taking an action, you actually have new possibilities for the next action. So take action first. Second thing you want to do, you're probably going to take the wrong action. Why? Because we said success is not a straight arrow. Success actually is all of these misturns, right? What I can promise you is on your journey to succeeding in anything, even the smallest thing is baking a cake or your professional journey, something that big too, or opening your first business or opening your 10th business, you'll find that the first step you'll take is probably not the right step. And that you be comfortable with that. And I'm about to give you a way to be comfortable with it. When you take that step and you realize, the moment you realize it's not what you wanted, I want you to just declare breakdown. And this is something that I was taught in ontology with a program called Landmark Education. I want to give them the credit for this. When you declare breakdown, the neuroscience, and this is not something that people talk about, but the neuroscience stops. So in other words, when you say breakdown, the impulse to rethink about what went wrong, which is a natural impulse, is stopped. It's a signal for you to stop thinking about what's wrong. Let me explain. When you make a mistake or you take a wrong step, your brain's natural inclination is to try and figure out what went wrong. It's looking for a cause to the problem. But when you're looking at a cause or looking for a cause to the problem, what you're focusing on is what's wrong. And then if you take another step from what's wrong, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get more of what's wrong. So here's what I'm offering to you. And all high achievers will do this in one form or another. They may not realize it, but so if you're a high achiever and you've already achieved a lot of things that you want to achieve, this can also be of service to you, because now you'll realize what you did and you can do it intentionally. But the next step, when you make a mistake step, or when you do something wrong, is not to think about what went wrong, but to think about your commitment in this situation. Let me give you an example. So I was dealing with an issue with one of my children, and she confessed to me something that was happening in her life. And I had all kinds of judgment, and I reviewed, what did I do wrong? I'm gonna look like a bad parent. And then after this, who knows what mistakes she could make, and on and on and on. So I was very present to the whole world of what was wrong. I stopped for a minute. And if I was to take action from what was wrong, I would actually take action from something I didn't want in my life. So I backed up for a minute and I thought about my commitment in the situation. My commitment to my daughter in this example is that she be able to say anything she wants to me, that we can have a relationship of true candor and authenticity. Well, if that's my real commitment, then I need to take an action from that place and not from what went wrong. So, for example, in your life, whatever you're trying to achieve, take action. The minute you realize it's not what you wanted, declare breakdown, get present to your commitment in the situation, and take a step from there. One of the things I've been dealing with as a professional is I've been trying to add new insurance services. In other words, I'm trying to make it more affordable for people to come and see me, and to do neurofeedback and neuromapping, which is what we do at the office. We teach people how to use their brains more effectively. But sometimes insurance doesn't support that because it's a natural process. There's no medication involved in what we do. So here I am running, and I'm trying to get our services more available to people. And I'm so frustrated with the paperwork. I just want to quit. And it's just tired of it. And I'm afraid of doing it wrong. So then I stopped for a minute and I thought, wait a minute. What is my original commitment in this situation? Why did I start this insurance journey anyway? I started it so I could make my services more financially available to people. Okay, if that's my commitment and I take an action from that commitment, my commitment was not to have insurance. My commitment was to get my services and this science to people more readily, to make it more affordable. So when I know what I wanted and why I took this journey, I can take a step from my commitment. So when you feel like quitting, take the step, and instead of being paralyzed, and instead of doing what the brain wants to do, which is think about all the problems, all the causes of your mistake, stop for a second, declare breakdown. Because if you go into all your mistakes, you're actually going to slide backwards and you'll take an action from what you don't want. So instead, when you take that action and you realize it's wrong, declare breakdown and remind yourself of your commitment and take a step from there. Now you'll find you might still make another mistake. And in that case, you'll declare breakdown again. Breakdown. And that's to signal your brain you're not going to think about what went wrong. What you're going to think about is you're going to think about why you did this, what is your commitment, and take an action from there. So, two very important things. I want you to have permission to take the wrong step. Along your journey, whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're creating, it doesn't exist in your life right now. So you're going to probably take the wrong step. It's going to happen. Accept that. The minute you take the wrong step, though, don't get in that escalation of what went wrong, because you'll actually go deeper and deeper into the hole of what went wrong. Instead of going there, remind yourself, break down, what is it that I wanted, and take steps from there. This is your brain coach giving you simple, easy ways to get out of habitually making the same mistake, taking action, and giving yourself permission to get back up and get back to work based on your commitment. This is your brain coach signing out.